Hi, welcome back to another video. This one is another review video. Haven't done one for a little while, but I've recently got the new Mclaren GT3 wheel rim. It's right here, and I've really been enjoying using it. I've been using it for about 2 weeks now, and I'm really impressed with some of the features and how it feels. So I thought I should do a review, run through the main features of it, jump in the rig behind me, have a go with that as well, and just explain about some of the feel I get with it. So enough of looking at my face. Let's get the camera zoomed in and let's go through some of the features on this wheel rim. So here we go then, we're zoomed in now, we're getting a much better view of the wheel rim. First, a few specs directly from the Fanatec website. That is a full-scale replica of the Mclaren GT3 steering wheel, which appeals, you know, something pretty cool having an exact replica of the wheel that's in the car in regards to the size of it and some of the feel. The thing I really like that's quite different to some of the other wheel rims you get from Fanatec is we've got analog paddles as standard with this one. You're not having to get any podium hub. Both of these act as analog paddles. And you've also got a magnetic and anodized rocker shifter, so you can see I can pull that in or push it away on both sides, and it rocks across the middle point here, which is quite cool. They are magnetic as well, which does help. Get quite a nice click with it, and it does help with your shifting. Those analog paddles on the back there, you can choose for all sorts of things. You can use one as a handbrake, you can use it as a clutch, you can use them as alternate brake and throttle paddles if maybe you couldn't use your pedals or you wanted to have something secondary. I know some people that do a lot of endurance racing that run a long time behind yellow flags, they've got quite stiff pedals, like to have a throttle set on there so they can set their code 80 limiter and just squeeze that in rather than sit on the pedal. Gives their legs a bit of a rest. You've got the central display. That is an OLED display. It's white. You get a little Fanatec logo when it boots up, but I shall show you all that later. And you've got a series of other different switches. I should say the wheelbase as standard comes with the Xbox button caps. So you've got the Xbox one down here. This might not be the right place, but you know, you've got your standard like A, B, X, Y shoulder button caps. I took all those off and they come off really easily. So even though it comes with these caps, I take them all off because I think it looks a little bit more realistic and I'm not using it on an Xbox, and they're really easy. You can just kind of hook your nail behind them and they ping off really easily. They wouldn't fall off, but you don't need to worry about getting those on and off. And you get your standard caps from Fanatec. If you've ever bought a wheel base from Fanatec, or a wheel rim I should say, you'll be familiar with these, which you can replace with them. But this does also come with a set of authentic looking stickers. We like stickers, and as you can see I've been putting a few on that I use regularly already, and it's quite hard to see, but I'll see if I can catch the light with it. Probably not going to be able to, but just underneath these buttons or in the right sort of places, some little dots, and they just help you line up the buttons, the stickers with your button so that it looks right. I don't think I can quite get that to show, but you can maybe just about make out little dots there. So that's quite a cool feature. And this rim comes with the rubber grips, just like the original Mclaren GT3 rim, and it's really light. With the QR1, the plastic quick release that I've got here, I'll come on to that in a minute, this only weighs just over 1 kilo. It's 1,090 grams, which is really light and obviously helps with the wheelbase and the feel you get through there. Probably notable mention, you've got the 3 obvious rotaries here. This one is responsible for how those analog shifters on the back, so you can change between, you know, handbrake mode or throttle or clutch mode. I've set these for ABS and traction control in my rig, so I've put the stickers on. But again, these are position encoders. If you can see there, there's the number 2 just in there, and this goes all the way around. And where are we? Goes to 10, 11 and 12 and back round to 1. Same on this side, and you can either set these as positions in your rig, so you know, ABS position 3, or you can just use them as a rotary encoder and kind of ignore the numbers that are in there. You've got your up and down switches here. I use them for my brake bias, and you've got the Fanatec funky switch down here, so you've got your left left, right, up and down, and your encoder there as well. Feature I quite like for realism is the neutral and pit limiter button. They are really hard to press. They've got decent resistance, and it apparently is identical resistance to the real life wheel. It's kind of hard to show on a video because it is just going to look like I'm pressing buttons, but they are really quite stiff and quite realistic, and I really like that. 300mm diameter, similar to some of the round rims, bigger than the Formula rim that I've used in the past, and I think that makes a big difference with how it feels on the rig. Comes with an additional Fanatec sticker that I've chosen. I've seen quite a few people have chosen to stick it on there. I think it looks quite good. Finally, whilst we're here, on the QR1, this is the plastic quick release. It's very easy to use. It slides onto the rig. There's a tiny little white line in there. If you can see that, it's not tight. You push that onto the wheelbase shaft, tighten it up. That disappears, you hit your lock stop, and that is it on. And it works really well, and it's really secure, I have to say. I chose the QR1, which comes for free with the rim. You can fit the metal QR2, because at the time of recording this, supposedly there is a new quick release coming from Fanatec. I didn't want to spend money on the metal QR2 and then have to upgrade to QR3 or whatever they're going to call it. When that happens, it just bolts on. It comes apart. When it arrives, you bolt it in place, and then you're good to go. So in the future, if I upgrade to the new quick release, it'll just be a case of undoing these bolts and putting the new one on. So there we have it. Really quick overview of the wheelbase, some of the functions, some of the buttons. I'm going to now jump into the rig and just run through what it feels like, because I think that's where this wheel really excels. Right, so here we go then. We've jumped in the rig. We've attached the Mclaren GT3 rim onto the Fanatec CSL-DD wheelbase, and we're all good to go. I'm a big fan of just how it feels in the hand. I like the fact it's got rubber grips as well, as opposed to Alcantara that so many sim rig wheels have. I love Alcantara, but you do have to wear gloves to stop it all going pretty minging pretty quickly. So it's nice to have rubber so I don't worry about gloves all the time. Right, here we are then. I've waited the mandatory 11-hour load time for R Factor 2. And we're at Spa now, and we're in the Mclaren at 650S for one good reason. Take a look at that steering wheel. Might look a bit similar. And that's one thing I really like with this rim. It's awesome that we get something looks really realistic right there. Now, obviously I've chosen to put stickers in different places to what might be the real car, but I really like the fact that we can mimic it exactly if that's what we wanted to do. So just rolling down the pit lane, it is really nice. It's a shame a game like R Factor 2 doesn't change the wheel controls for you as you do in real life, but it is really cool to be in the car that's got the same steering wheel as the one in front of you. Really firm press on that P button for the pit limiter. And I'm a big fan of the magnetic shift in this. It's really good. Cold tyres on the outlet. Let's take it easy through here. I'm not going to do anything drastic. You know, ultimately it's a rim and it's connected to whatever wheelbase you have, and it's going to feel like that. But what I enjoy is the diameter feels right. The buttons and the dials all feel as they should. And they've got a nice positive click to them. They're not flimsy, or you're not totally sure whether you've actually engaged whatever it was. It's very clear that you've pressed that button or you haven't pressed that button. And I really like that. The funky switches always works really well. And I haven't used the analog paddles much. I don't think it would be something I would use a great deal, but I can see that there's an awful lot of possibilities with those. Criticisms, if I'm being really honest, I'm not a huge fan of these switches here. I don't know if you can pick that up on this camera, but this is quite flimsy. There's quite a lot of side to side and up to down movement before you actually engage how you want. It feels positive when you use it, but it doesn't feel as strong, and I'm slightly worried if you knocked it you could snap those off. Might be an unjustified concern though. I like the fact you can shift up and down on both sides because it's a rocker. Does take a little bit of getting used to though, and it's worth pointing out quite often, particularly if I'm on a circuit where I'm shifting a lot, I will rest my fingers on the paddle all the time. It's probably a bad habit, and I've caught myself out a couple of times where I've actually added more resistance to the lever than I really want, because I'm sort of pulling a little bit on the other side at the same time where it rocks on that pivot. It's only a very minor thing though, and it's more me than it is the wheelbase. But if that's your thing, you like to have that option, there it is. So there you have it then, guys. Something a little bit different. Review video this week. Wheel rim I've really been enjoying using. I can see myself using it a lot more going forward. I think it looks great too, which helps, and it also feels fantastic. The couple of downsides which I went through in the video, particularly relating to those little toggle switches up here, but the rest of it I'm a big fan of, and I think they've done a really neat job progressing from the V1 McLaren rim onto that version 2. All in all, big fan. Other than that, I shall say, thanks very much for watching.